Good evening and welcome to Horses for Courses Christmas special. We're joined by a special guest tonight, known as the racing blogger. Stephen, will you give us a bit of background about yourself?
Yeah, hi, I'm the racing blogger, as I'm sure many people have heard by now. Made a bit of a name for myself by visiting race courses and basically having a laugh and trying to make racing fun. Originally born in Clonmel, Ireland, sandwiched between Aidan O'Brien's and Mouse Morris's. So pretty much racing was always in the background of my mind, but it wasn't until I was 14 years old that watching the Cheltenham Festival on my grand's living room turned me into a full-time degenerate, and I've been hooked ever since.
Stephen, the question is, how many of you could be at Dundalk tonight?
I have had no bet at Dundalk tonight.
Cagshead Muir tomorrow over the jumps in France?
No, negative.
Don't want anymore.
Right. We've got Andrew Humphreys here from Toppool and Ed.
Evening, everyone. Merry Christmas to you all.
And Graham Woods.
Good evening. Merry Christmas.
Do we have Graham?
Good evening, Mick.
How are you?
I'm great, Mick. How about yourself?
Oh, great. Great. How's the weather near sunny Dundalk?
It's improving, Mick. It's improving, but hopefully improves a bit more.
Never improved enough to get that first holiday this morning, but the one at 7:30 might go. It might go. So if you're Aurelia, 7:30, you own it. Somebody making a racket in the background. I don't know.
Who's juggling pans?
It might be.
Sorry about that. I'm eating steak.
Got landed. Our first odds season landed.
Professional show. We've got Matt Clarkson. I thought that was actually Matt from Maiden Racing, who was robbing a house for Christmas presents, but it was not. How you doing, Matt?
Yeah, I'm already back from robbing Christmas presents. I've been to Kids Hospital and robbed some of their presents as well after your tips, Mick, so leaves us all short, doesn't it?
Well, rather be short than tall. We have Phil Kijani from GP Festival.
Season's greetings and goodwill to all men and women too.
And I think that's everyone. We'll just get straight into the action. 12:55 at Kempton. The 32 Red Casino Novices Hurdle. 8 runners all declared, some each way, thievery available. Andrew, any thoughts on this race?
Jenkins.
Just
Simple.
Just simply Jenkins.
Not interested in anything else. Elgin's not too bad, but you're getting 5-1 about Elgin. You're getting 4-7 about Jenkins. I think this is just another step on the ladder towards the Supreme Novices for me. Whether he's good enough to win that, obviously, we'll see closer to the time. But if he gets beat in this one, God knows what will happen.
Graham, you echo the same thoughts as Andrew?
I would make. I think Jenkins is the leading contender for the Supreme Novice Hurdle, and I think, Henderson won this last year with Altior, and he's taken the same path with him. He's done nothing in his career so far to suggest he is in high class. The one that caught me eye, just maybe as an each way bet, is Muhayyad. He ran in the Irish 2000 Guineas that Glen Eagles won, and he was midfield, ran a very good race. And since then, he's been kind of plying his trade and really good handicaps / listed races, and he's an interesting horse here. He's rated as high as 107 on the flat, and I noticed his money from first run for Dan Skelton. He could be the each way playing the race, but Jenkins is going to be very hard to beat.
Yeah, I do. Looking through some of his form, he's got third to Zorak. He beat Ginger Lake. He's been tried in the high listed handicaps. I don't know if he was a gelding before that, but being gelded first time tongue tie is very interesting. I'll go to Mark Clarkson. What's your thoughts on this race?
Yeah, Jenkins as well. I think if he can't win this, they can shelve the plans for the Supreme Novices. He should win this. Maybe Ballyhill to go with him as a forecast. I know Nigel Twiston Davis thinks he's a good horse, but he also thinks the new one's a good horse, but that's another chat, isn't it? but maybe that could be the one for forecast. But yeah, Jenkins should win this.
Racing blogger, we know you like a shorty. Is the money on, or is
Yeah.
it? Oh,
So you may have seen my post earlier on in the week, and it was about backing Jenkins. I saw Will responded to it at 8-11 with Betfair. So I've creamed my pants all over Jenkins and spunked all the money on the first race. So we either do our bollocks or we get off to a flyer. The horse is a stone cold. He wins.
so
It was a family show. It was a family show. It now isn't a family show.
well,
It's a bit of family show. Not the podcast, it's not. Voice sworn like 50.
X-rated when the blogger's involved.
Stephen, are we going to get a video with the heart racing monitor and things like that again? Because we never actually got to see that.
Say again, Mick.
Will we get the heart rate monitor on and things like that again?
Well, unless I have a grand or two on one, there won't be much of a point. But the big bets haven't gone too well last year.
We never quite got that video, but I'll leave this now to William to round us up.
I'll be quick because we've got to move on to other things. I like Jenkins a lot. He'll go well in the Supreme. He'll probably win this.
Well, that was very quick. The one for me for a bit each way would be the James Graham Mohai. He's just interesting. First run with Dan Skelton, first three, and you hit the first three, which is fair. We could be in. Jenkins should win. We move on to 13:30 at Kempton, the 32red.com chase. We have 7 runners. William, I'll go with you first. What's your lookout on this race?
I think it's a very good renewal despite the fact that cut up this. They've all got a chance. They've all got significant potential as well. I ended up sort of gravitating a bit towards the favourites, mainly because they've had a really successful chase experience, and I would just side with Gold Present, who looked a horse transformed when he won at Doncaster. He wasn't as visually impressive as Poker School, but this yard really know what it takes to win this race. I just can't not see him improving a bit more. Wouldn't go heavy in it, but no, it's a good old race.
Good to see Noel Feely jocked up on that, by the way. He was without a jockey this afternoon, but Noel Feely's on it now.
I'm very happy to back Nicky Henderson horses with Noel Feely riding, and I'll leave it to the rest.
Racing blogger, we've got you in next in this race. Mute your mic when you go away as well, blogger. Come on, we didn't want to hear Mrs. Blogger. We can get her in at the end.
You want Miss Blogger in?
I will get her in later, but mute
Yes, please.
when you go away. Right, shoot it, go.
Okay.
13:30.
Well, she's in Fields at the moment, so she'll be home soon.
Right.
Yeah. So my views. Go on.
Shoot it, go 13:30 Kempton.
Right. So my views on this race are Poker School was devilishly impressive at Ascot last time. That was a seriously competitive race, and he was held off the pace that day, but he came through like a well-handicapped horse. He's only been raised by the handicapper £8, and I think if he responds after only a 9-day break, he's going to take some beating. He's evidently improving, and he's a course and distance winner. I think the danger could be the bottom horse, Remulac of Chris Gordon's. First time over fences, he was third behind Not Graffin at Newbury. That was a really solid run. I think he got done for a bit of toe. He's currently trading at around 10-1. Unfortunately, there's only 7 runners, so there's no each way value. But I might chuck a little reverse forecast on Poker School and Remulac that will pay around 45-1.
I noticed you were on the Tipstar last week, and he was one of your 3. Do you think you'd have got the victory?
Yeah, I mean, it was absolutely sickening that I didn't tip him because, I really fancied the horse, and I had a little bet on him on the day and Andy Kelly, and I couldn't make my mind up between the two. So unfortunately, I couldn't tip him live. That was really frustrating, to be honest.
Just unlucky, blogger. Just unlucky. Move on for your opinion on this race.
Sorry, is that me, Mick?
Matt Clarkson.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry, Mick. Yeah, I like the Nichols horse, mate, San Benedetto. I know he fell last time at Cheltenham, but before then he was jumping well, and Nichols' horses, they're running really good. I know he's got top weight and that, but if he gets that fall out of his system from last time, he's bang there. He's got some decent form along with some of these, and the price that he's at now, I'd be worth chancing him. I think. I know it's going to be a good race, and you won't be surprised if anything won, to be honest. But I do like the Nichols horse, San Benedetto.
Excellent. I'll go to you, Graham. Graham, do you find it weird that this is something we've talked about before, that David Russell comes and rides, he's retained by Di Walters, but he doesn't ride two Taffs in this? What is your thoughts on this race, and what's your thoughts on only riding some of the Di Walters horses?
The thing with that, Mick, is Davy Russell has a retainer in Ireland for a man called Christopher Jones, quite a wealthy businessman, lives near me, and that's his first retainer. He owns Abana, Futuramic, Noble Endeavour, all those horses, and that's his first retainer. And I'm sure he has runners on the first day of Leopardstown. I think that's why he's over in Leopardstown, Northampton. The horse I like here is an ex-Irish horse, Size in Tennessee. Purely on the angle that he's dropping down in class. He's been running 2 novice chases in Cheltenham, and he's ran respectively. He was second to 007 first time up, and then he ran a similar race behind Whisper last night. I think this is a drop down in class for him, and 9-1 is too big for a horse that, you know. I think he's better than all these, really, and there's a lot of question marks around the others. San Benedetto has plenty of experience, but I think Size in Tennessee is the value in the race 9-1. I think you wouldn't go wrong there backing him each way.
I think I kind of agree with you there, but it's only we won't get the 3 places. Only 7 entered. Andrew, we'll come to you lastly. What is your thoughts on Max Ward, if you have any?
I didn't actually look at Max Ward, if I'm honest. I was with Blogger. I was in for poker school myself. I mean, watching on the TV, all I saw was him from the last to the finishing post at Ascot, and he wasn't for stopping. Let's put it that way. He looked very impressive, and he has gone up in the handicap, which is obviously you would expect him to do so. But I think he probably is the one again to beat. And I did notice he's got Richard Johnson on as well, which is, Ian Williams has pulled a nice rabbit out of the hat there and got him on board. The one I would agree with a lot of the stuff that's been said already. The one that I can't get my head around is 2 Taffs. What is? I don't understand what Dan Skelton's got him in here for. To be honest, in his stable tour, they said they were going to keep him hurdling for this year and then go chasing next year. Now he's had what, 2 runs over hurdles, and now he's going over fences. I just find that quite incredible, to be honest. Size in Tennessee's got a bit to do for me. I know Colin Tizard is having a fine season, but I think it is between the top 2 in the market, Gold Present and Poker School. Noel Feely on for Henderson does make a big difference. I think I quite like Noel Feely. I think he's a very good jockey, but it is going to be Poker School for me in a start off for a good favourite start off for everyone.
I kind of agree with the racing board. I think that Poker School is still well handicapped. I would be going with him with the champion Jolicoeur on board. So if he 1-2-5, which isn't too bad, it's a bounce factor that may come into play, but there's an obvious reason that they're running on him so quickly. Again, there may be a festival handicap that they're looking at to get in for a mark, off a higher mark, just to get in, because he is quite lowly marked down at 1-2-5. I'll move on to the 1405, the Cottage Star Novices Chase. It's a grade 1. Andrew, you go first. 10 runners, who do you fancy?
I'm going to put it out there now. I was one of those that backed Annabelle Fly at 8-1 last night. I think the form for him is definitely there. Behind Coney Island and in front of a lot of horses that will probably be at the festival come the right time of the year. I think with the weather that's going on as well, I find it quite interesting that has stuck with bringing him over. I think that's quite interesting when obviously Willie has decided that he doesn't want to come over for whatever reason. In behind, Present Man is one that's quite good as well. I don't mind Jack Sherwood riding that. I think he's a very good jockey. He gave a good ride to one we put up on here last week, 2 weeks ago. Was it Red Devil Star or something like that? I think it was something. The Susie Smith horse. I do like Frodon. The problem for me with Frodon is, as a 4-year-old, he's had a lot of runs already. This is going to be his 6th run of the season. Now, I don't know whether they're going to the well a bit too many times, but he seems to be like a bouncy ball, really. You throw him around for a bit and he comes back and just doesn't seem to go away, really. Annabelle Fly is the one to beat for me, but at the price, his price probably did go last night. I mean, 5-2 now is quite skinny. Frodon at 9-2. Yeah, I'm going to stick with Annabelle Fly and be one of these people that's tipped up the first 3 favs at Kempton on King George Day, which is going to probably either go very, very well or leave me with a big hole to fill come the 4th and the 5th races.
I can't believe this. We're 3 races in and there's been 3 favourites tipped and it's not the racing blogger. That is the surprise.
If anybody knows, if the lads in the office know, what is it? Of Robbie McNamara on the final furlong pod, it's always nicer to back a short price winner than a long price loser. I'll stick by that. Thank you very much.
I'll move on to you, Graham. Graham, what do you think of Frodon in here? He's off at 153, getting £7 as a 4-year-old. He's a highest rated horse in the field and getting weight. But do you think his form will stick up to Annabelle Fly?
I think he does have to make. I think he does have to improve to get to Annabelle Fly's Drinmore run. That was his run in Drinmore. That form is very strong. Frodon, I know a few people that fancy him for the JLT. I had reservations about the trip at this stage. I think he's probably more 2.5, 2.5 type, as he proved last time out. The one I like is Amore Alato. I think he's just going to jump these into submission, and they're not going to catch him. He was class at Sandown last time out. Has to improve, but I think his jumping can kind of help bridge that gap between him and the rest. It's going to be very hard to catch. Annabelle Fly sets the standard. I know he doesn't on ratings, but in my opinion, he does on what he's done on form. And I suppose if you look on weights and ratings, you'd think Frodon's a good thing, but I just think Amore Lato's jumping is a huge asset, and I think he's going to have these all in trouble. 11-1's a great each way bet here. 10 runners.
Matt Clarkson, coming to you next. Annabelle Fly is a favourite. He's never run over any further than 2 miles 4. Is a trip the problem, and what is your selection for this race?
I don't think the trip will be a problem, Mick. To be honest, not at all. I think he'll be versatile trip wise. I think he will get 2 mile 4, not a problem. But anybody who knows me knows I'm a massive Frodon fan, and I don't think Annabelle Fly will get to Frodon. I know there's a lot of talk for Frodon for the JLT at Festival, and I'm going to upset Pat Mustard now by saying that I actually think Frodon will win RSA. I think the further he goes, the better he'll be, and I think he'll go down that route. I agree with what Graham just said about Amore Alato's jumping. It's very good, but I'm a massive Frodon fan. I mean, I know he has run a lot of times this season, but he just seems to get better every time. And I think he's he's definitely Paul Nicholls' best novice chaser, and I think he's a very, very underrated horse. And I honestly think he's a good thing for this race. I really do.
Racing blogger, you'll need to unmute yourself, but we have Royal Vacation in here for Colin Tizard. He's putting the blinkers on for the first time. He ran against Politologue the last time. He was 6 3/4 lengths behind. Politologue's probably been the best novice I've seen this season. Does he come here with a chance, or do you fancy something else? Blogger, unmute yourself.
Unmute yourself, blogger.
He's got 5 seconds.
He's found a Waitrose barking. Can you blame him?
It's going to be Annabelle Fly anyway.
Right.
I'll do it for him. 10 about 5.
DJ, we'll go on to yourself now. We'll just move on to you just now. What is your thoughts on this race? To blogger unmutes yourself.
Presuming that's to me, I am also going to be one of those hashtag filth who got 8-1 about Annabelle Fly and some 7s. But even now, I think he's a fair price at 3-1. I think the Dreamer was a really good race this year. Coney Island was a second over hurdles in a very good grade 1, second to Bells Hill. It keeps improving, we'll talk about later. Behind him was Alfredo Beau, the World Hurdle second, and a chase winner. Diamond King, also chase winner. Very good over hurdles, Coral Cup winner. And I think actually there wasn't a horse in that race who hadn't actually won a chase before, and there were a couple of graded winners. And I think possibly the biggest question might be whether he'll get 3 miles, but he was really strong at the end when he won the handicap at Punch of San Vestal. When he beat the wrong Propeller, he was a strong stair and beat him silly. He was staying on quite well in the Dream. I know Kevin Ryan fair hacked up that day, but I don't know, with a bit more time, he'd have got a bit closer. Kevin Ryan, if anything, outsped him. And I think there's a lot to like about his chances. I think the race is decent one. You got Frodon, who I like, and I think he'll go very well. I think he'll get 3 miles about a good ground. I think those two really set a high standard. The each way bet, if people are looking for one, is Manana Daddy.
Can you lads hear me?
I can hear you now, blogger.
Yes, we can. I'll give way to blogger.
I'll keep muting you every time that you stop talking, so you need to unmute yourself when I ask you. Right?
Yeah, no, I was there. I just couldn't hear you. So they took the 205 at Kempton, 3 miles novice chase, Group 1, a Grade 1. I think it's an interesting race. You know, you've got a lot of horses who haven't yet ran over 3 miles. Annabelle Fly, you know, he's only gone as far as 2.5, but he's got a lot of class. He's a 145 rated hurdler, already rated 148 over fences. And that run at Ireland at Ferryhouse in the Dreammoor behind Coney Island had a lot of potential in it. Tony Martin is one of the shrewdest judges out there. And, you know, this horse looks to have been lined up for this race to me. The danger could be Manana Daddy for Peter Bowen, an improving handicapper who ran a cracking race at Ascot last time, 9 days ago. Will that race take too much out of him? It's hard to know, but he definitely stays. He jumps soundly, and he's definitely one that could go with a big chance. Royal Vacation, as you mentioned, he's a no-goer for me. I think the track's going to be too sharp for him. He got outpaced over 2 mile 5 at Ascot behind Polo 2 last time. I wouldn't really have him in my equation. Obviously, the interesting one is Frodon for Paul Nicholls. I mean, how a 4-year-old beat those horses at Cheltenham over 2 mile 5 in really dead, sticky ground, I thought was devilishly impressive. But I'm not sure if he's really crying out for 3 miles. But then again, Cheltenham is the stiffest track in the country, and he's improving. He gets a handy £7. But how much did that race take out of him at the same time? If I had to have a bet, I've missed the value already on Annabelle Fly, but I definitely wouldn't be opposing him, and he's still 3-1 for the shrewd Tony Martin JP combination.
Hate to say I told you so, everyone.
Oh, Andrew. I'll kind of agree that Amora Alato could actually win this. He could actually just jump him into the ground, as he says. It'll probably be a non-betting race for me on the day. I'll need to actually look at prices. The forecast's only that great at the moment, but I think he could be a very underrated horse in here. We'll move on to the Christmas Hurdle, one of the highlights of the season, supposedly. William, I'll go to you first. We've got 5 runners. And what is your thoughts on this?
My thoughts on this race is that pace is going to be all important. That reason being that Yanworth basically is favourite, and I love him to bits. He's a very talented horse. I couldn't stop going on about him for the festival last year, where he didn't lose any credit, you know, in being beaten by Yorkhill. I feel I should just say that. But everything he's done basically in 2016 suggests that he's a very strong stair and a stout one and a battler at that. And he's now going to what is probably the fastest 2 miles in the country. I think it definitely is on good ground. And I'm not so sure about him this track and trip, and I wouldn't be keen to take 11 to 8. I think this could boil down to being between the new one, My Tent Rules, and Chitabello. I put Chitabello in there because he's got a real turn of foot, and that's it's his main asset, Woodsy. And
no, how is Janworth not there? Jeez.
How's Janworth not there? I'm not saying he's not going to be in the shake-up, but I don't listen. I love the horse as much as anybody, you know that, but I'm not going to back him at 11 to 8. I would just much see him win, and then maybe bet him for a champion if it cuts up. I think that the new one, if the pace is strong enough and aggressive enough, and he can get into the battle, can take this from My Tent or Yours. Although My Tent or Yours I expect to be closer. This is what he wants now. Good ground, quick 2 miles. If I keep on talking, Woodsy will get really angry, so I'll just have this.
Get back away from the window, Woodsy. Don't do it.
Matt, what's your
Right, one thing also. Kudos to Richard Harper. He's put Grey Wolf River in here. He was expecting to get, I think it was 1,300 quid, having paid 800. Vroom Vroom Mag's gone. He's now going to get 2,680. The horse has made £525.
He's to get ruined in travelling costs and things and that. They'll probably make a loss for the owners.
He's done it before. Listen, run your horses. All I'm saying, he will never make that much money again. I guarantee it. With that thing.
He's still complete, right? We're on to the night. Right, Matt Clarkson, give us your thoughts on that.
Well, if the new one deserves to win this race, then Grey Wolf River deserves to win this race.
He does.
I've got no opinion on the new one is 15 to 8 for a grade 1. Let me just say that one more time. The new one is 15 to 8 for a grade 1. That's all I'm saying.
Pass it on. Matt? What odds again?
15 to 8. That is less than 2 to 1 in a grade 1 for an horse that can't jump a hurdle.
That means if you bet £8 on him,
you will get 23 back.
You will lose £8 if you bet £8.
Well, you will, yeah.
You will lose £8.
Lads, right, come on. Janworth, give us your reasoning why.
He's an absolute certainty for this. And he would. I think he'd win it if Vroom Vroom Mag was in it as well. I've followed the horse for a long time since his bumper days, and if you look at his record, he's 7 from 10. It's hard to fault. I thought his comeback run at Ascot was very satisfactory. Betting 160 rated horse. I know he was getting weight, but it was satisfactory. He wasn't out. He wasn't working on grass before that race. They couldn't get him out, and King said he needed it badly. Listen, I don't have strong opinions on the new one, really. I don't think he's 167 horse, but I'd say he's 160 around that. Janworth does have to step up to beat him. I would say that, but he will, and I think he'll take this comfortably. I think William underestimates the horse's ability, to be honest with you, if he has him out of the first 3 in this.
I'm going to be very crucial about this. I'm going to be an arsehole about this. Not his ability, his raw tactical speed around Kempton. Very different. He's got all
if he makes all, if he makes all, like he done at Ascot against Charbel, he'll win on the bridle. I think.
Quickly moving on, Andrew.
Price, but he's 11 to 8.
Yeah.
I think that's a fair price.
Moving on, Andrew, you were quick to tell us that you backed Annabelle Fly. Now tell us how many times you've backed Vroom Vroom Mag for this race.
Twice. Twice. And I'm gonna get the same amount of money back as the new one back as well.
Who's your
Janworth is the best horse in this race. He's going to be probably us being the UK, our best chance at winning the champion, which is no chance at all. The new one is grade 2 at best. I also think I think he's fantastic, but it just needs to stop now. To be honest, it just needs to stop. You get into the same arguments that you get on the flat when it rains and Clever Cookie becomes favourite for a ridiculous race. It's never going to win. That's the kind of argument that's coming on here. I think if you're looking for a 1-2, you're going to get Yanworth and Chittabello. Chittabello had My Tent or Yours well held at Haydock last time. Now My Tent or Yours doesn't look anywhere near the same horse he was. I think he probably is. He just doesn't like it anymore. So I think if you're looking for a bet, you're looking at Yanworth Chittabello forecast. But Yanworth is. I personally think he should be a lot closer to even money, possibly even a shade of odds on, but I think he will win.
I'm going to put my opinion in here, right? There is one Grade 1 winner over 2 miles here, and it's My Tent or Yours, and that was in 2016. The new one is 0 for 5 in Grade 1s, so you couldn't really back him. Yanworth run out 2 miles last season and then went up in trip. I really couldn't have a bet in this race. I would be all over Vroom Vroom Mag if she was there. She would beat them into the ground there 2 miles. I would probably have to side with Yanworth, and I can't believe I'm actually saying this, but if I was, I wouldn't even be having a bet in this race.
He's the best of a bad bunch. Let's put it that way. He's the best of a bad bunch.
It isn't even. It's a bad race. It's a shame we've not got Faheen. It's a shame we've not got Vroom Vroom Mag. But this is what we've got, and this is what we've got to play with.
Yeah. I had a question. What price would Faheen be in this field?
Well, it was 1 to 4 last year, so it'd probably be about 1 to 4 again.
Nick.
Yeah.
Do you not rate Yanworth, or do you not just rate his chances over this trip?
This trip probably, but because we always beats Charbel this trip. That's all he's beat. The new one's lost every time he's went for a Grade 1.
He bet Bell too.
He's lost at every Grade 1 he's went for it this trip, the new one. Exactly. So you couldn't back him. How can you back something that's 0 for 5 in Grade 1s or this trip? You just can't. My Tent or Yours.
He's only been bet 3 times. Yeah, he's only been bet 3 times. He hasn't run in 5 Grade 1s.
Who, the new one?
No, Yanworth, am I right?
Oh, no. But Yanworth's only ran at this trip once or twice. And it was his first 2 runs and then they stepped him up. Now they're bringing him back. That's a concern.
Yanworth is unlucky that Harry is around. That's as simple as that. They want this to be a World Earldale horse, but they've already got Harry to sweep that race up without any question. So if you're JP, there's no point in
it kind of reminds me already. It reminds me at this stage of a young Isterbrack who ran over 2 mile 5 at Cheltenham and dropped back in trip to be a world hero.
Did you just say compare Yanworth?
Stop it now.
Right.
Yanni Yanworth, the new Isterbrack. You heard it here first.
I'll quickly move on because the next race could be farcical.
Listen, let me just quickly say I've got 5-2 about Yanworth, £100 win from Sky Bet. So I'm hoping to shove that right up their faces.
I hope you do, Stephen, but I can't see it. In fact, I can probably see the new one spawn at the second last and Grey Wheel Frivola winning this race and a record time of 15 minutes.
I think it's a great race to have a bet in. I think the new one's guaranteed to go out and make the running. Yanworth's going to sit in second or third and just track him around. Coming to the final furlong, it will be the new one and Yanworth fighting it out, and you can still get 3.15 Yanworth to beat the new one in a straight forecast. I can't have My Tent or Yours at all. The horse is clearly on the decline. He's dropped 13 pounds in the handicap on his last 6 runs. He's not the same horse he used to be. He's twice a course and distance winner at Kempton, but he just doesn't seem to have the toe. Chittabello won a farcical race at Haydock, beating a donkey, Melonic Rendezvous. To put that into context, he beat that horse 2 lengths. The new one beat him 24 lengths at Cheltenham. So that says all you need to know about that.
But Melodic Rendezvous won a Grade 1, new one, hasn't it?
You're not using that sort of form comparison, are you?
I'm not as a form comparison, but Chittabello was beating a handicapper for 144 and 141. He's not on the grade of these horses.
Silence. We're moving on. The King George, which is I'm going to give you my opinion on first on this. This is a terrible race.
Amen. Amen.
It is, and I'm going to just go straight out and say, how the hell is Silvio Jacob Conti the outsider of these 5? How? Previous winner in the race, maybe even twice. Dual winner. He's won it twice. He's only 10. He's for 163. He's the second highest rated horse in the field. He's showing the forecast here at 20-1. If I was to be forced to have a bet, I'd bet Conti. And now I'll hand it back over to you, Andrew, and see what your opinion is.
This is an embarrassment of a race. This is our Christmas number 1 race, and we've got 5 runners, 2 of which come from the same yard. One's as old as time and one's as young as a pup. The young pup's going to win. Thistlecrack will go out and they'll send him out in front. Say this is an absolute dream for his owners as well. They took a gamble and thought, well, how many runners is there going to be? Can we make the pace? Can we keep up? They're going to make the pace. He's going to go out in front, and the rest of them are going to get a lovely, lovely, lovely view of his backside the whole way around. Q-Card will probably come second. Looking at the photo that we've got there now. I do miss Vitor. I think Vitor would have given this a good crack as well if he was here. Possibly even Duvan would have given it a good crack, but never mind. The 2 outside of Shosses Hill and T for 2. It's going to be a lovely day out for their owners. Silvio Jacob Conti has won this twice, but he's also only won 2 races since he's done this. Both of them were egg and spoon grade 1s. This will crack for me. Honourable mention for Q-Card, but this could be the second coming. This will crack, and I'm looking forward to seeing how he goes. And that is directly in opposition to what one Mick Doonan thinks, I think.
I'll move on to Graham Wood's opinion now.
Don't have a strong opinion on the first 2 in the market. I hope Shosses Hill wins it. But he's getting his act there, and if T for 2 wins this, the game is gone really. He got bet in a handicap earlier on this season, 16-1 to win a King George. It's a bad renewal, really. I can see our angle with Silvio Jacob Conti, Mick. I think he didn't run up the scratch last time. I think that was on account of the ground. I don't think he's completely gone at the game. I think he can win races. Thistlecrack Q-Card, if gun to me head, I'd probably just slightly favour Thistlecrack, but it's a no bet race. Just watch and brief, Mick.
Matt Clarkson.
Well, it's King George, but to be honest, I prefer Prince George and his 3. It's an awful race. I mean, people annoy me who big up Q-Card. Q-Card is, let's compare him to Denmill, let's compare him to Core Star, let's compare him to Champions. Q-Card is a good horse, and that is it. He's a good horse. He's not a great horse. He's not a champion. He's never won a Gold Cup. He never will win a Gold Cup. He's a good horse. Thistlecrack's in this race because he's got nothing to beat. And I don't think Thistlecrack will win the Gold Cup, and I think that's how poor this race is. I love Thistlecrack this year. Fantastic hurdler. I think in time he'll be a fantastic chaser. He just needs to iron out these problems, which he will with races. But I don't think his jumping is going to be more under pressure today. I've seen something today that Paddy Brennan says about if Thistlecrack beats Q-Card, that Thistlecrack will be the greatest horse Paddy Brennan's ever seen. Well, Paddy Brennan spent all day sniffing glue. That's a ridiculous statement.
Yeah, what?
Paddy Brennan's seen Carl Starr's ass a million times. He's seen Denman's ass a million times, but he says Thistlecrack's better. It's scandalous.
Opinion.
I think
a selection, Matt, please.
I think you've got to say Thistlecrack, but I don't think any of these win a Gold Cup.
Racing blogger.
Hello. Are you there?
Quick opinion and select, please.
Yeah, I mean, end of the day, we've only got 5 runners. We'll start with the number 1, the big boy in the race, Q-Card. He's won 7 grade 1s, and he's a living legend. He deserves his title as one of the best chasers in the game. And to be fair to the horse, he makes it exciting for the true racing fan. He's a legend that we've seen year on, and we've grown to love him. He comes in here. He deserves to be favourite at the end of the day. Thistlecrack still has to prove over fences he can be the same horse that he is over hurdles. But Q Card's definitely the one to beat. He hammered Cody Gree, and I expected him to do that. I don't rate Cody Gree as high as what other people do, you know. At Weatherby, you know, I think they got the tactics wrong. He wasn't fit, and he didn't let himself down on the ground. But, you know, Q Card's going to go out there, and at the end of the day, whatever beats him wins. Joss's Hill, you know, he's going to get found out. He hasn't won over the trip. Nicky Henderson's done his best to get this horse to win at Kempton and Huntingdon. And, you know, against horses like Q Card and Thistlecrack, he's going to come up short. Silvianco Conti's clearly on the decline. Maybe Aintree took it out of him. Maybe it didn't. But at Down Royal, he didn't seem to have the same speed behind Bazerino that he used to. And he got battered senseless by Q Card. He's a no-goer for me. T for 2, I haven't got much to say about that horse. He's not in the same class as these horses. No chance at all. So it comes down to a straight battle between Thistlecrack and Q Card. And you've got to ask yourself one question. Do you want to back a horse who's won 7 Grade 1s against a young pretender? And it's pretty much like a young boxer taking on an established boxer. Has he got the class at this stage of his career? And I've got no doubt in my mind that Thistlecrack is good enough. The only thing we need to know is if Kempton may be a bit too sharp and what happens when his jumping comes under pressure. Because at Cheltenham 2 runs back, he was slightly untidy at times and jumped quite stickily. At Newbury next time out, he was like a bullet. If it came down to having a bet, I'd either have a forecast Crack to beat Q Card or Q Card to beat Crack. I wouldn't back either of them singly, and that forecast currently pays 9-4. But if you pushed me for a selection, I'd have to go with Thistlecrack, the young pretender. There aren't many runners. He should just be able to sit in 2nd or 3rd and get into a nice rhythm. And if it comes down to the last 3 and he's there, I don't see what's going to beat him.
Mr. Kajani, quickly, opinion and selection, please.
I think Q Card is the right favourite, and I think he'll just get the better Thistlecrack, but I wouldn't bother because you can get 8-11 with Betfred that these two finished in the first 2 in the order. That's the bet of Christmas, probably.
We were 2-1 that going into the race as well, by the way. 2-1 it was, and now it's 8-11. So well done if you got on at 2-1.
It's still the better Christmas, even 8-11. Why choose?
Excellent. I'll give you my final opinion. I think the bet of Christmas is a place late on Thistlecrack because I think he's going to tip up. I don't think he's going to make it round. And
you'll get some special on that, won't you, Nick? There'll be some special. Somebody will offer
it. There will be somewhere. And I don't think he'll get round. Don Cossack couldn't get round. Valserlido didn't get round. The 2nd and 3rd season racers. The King George is a totally different race. But Thistlecrack's been going around beating Big Bad John 8 lengths at Newbury. Or he done it in a quick time, but he beat Big Bad John. Big Bad John would be 2001 to win a novice race at Cheltenham. Never mind King George. That is just my opinion on it. I hate to see horses falling. I'd hate to bet on a horse to fall, but I will
But you're going to do it anyway.
I'm going to place Liam because I don't think he makes it round. I really doesn't. As soon as he's challenged, he's been unchallenged for so long, and I just think, I honestly just think he won't make it round. We're going to move on to the next race, which is a 12:45 at Kempton, the 32 on App Store handicap hurdle. Mr. Kajani, you have been a handicap king, supposedly. So let us hear your thoughts.
No, that's yours title. I gave you that title. It's gonna be really boring, and I'm a bit annoyed that the price has gone. But if Instant Karma stays, he wins. However, to look outside Instant Karma for some bigger and better prices, I noticed that Del Arca has been laid out for this. He runs well after a layoff. He's got legitimate weight claims, and the grounds come right for him. So I'd probably say you're looking for something bigger, Del Arca or Big Chief Benny. But that said, I think it's going to take a lot to be Instant Karma if he stays. The Ascot form is really working out quite well.
Racing blogger, your opinion on this race, you're muted, so you will need to unmute yourself again.
Bet you £1 he goes for Does Your Dog Bite? Anyone?
Stephen, are you there? We've lost the blogger. He's away to have the lot on Thistlecrack. Right, Matt Clarkson, you've been muted as well for background noise. So give us your opinion on mute yourself and give us your opinion on this race.
This is going really well.
Matt,
Hello. What?
give us your opinion, son. Come on.
I'm trying to, but you muted me for no reason.
I'm muting everybody for now on, and then unmute yourself when you come to speak.
All right, fair enough. I like Lachine Prince. Is that what it's called? Yeah, Lachine Prince. Philip Sobozos. I was impressed with him last time. It's not really a race I'm going to divulge too much into, to be honest. If I've won a couple before, I might have a bet. I was impressed with him last time at Fosslas, and I don't really know much about restaurant, so that one, Lachine Prince.
Blogger, we have you back.
Yeah, I'm back, lads. Can you hear me?
We have you back. Right, what's your selection? Big field handicap. Your speciality. 6 to 1 the field.
Yeah, listen, in the 3:45, the best bet of the weekend run, Spirit of Games for Dan Skelton. Got into this race of a mark of 125. The horses who beat him at Cheltenham, Holston, the Colin Tizard horse, West Approach, all rated 140 plus. He's extremely well handicapped. First time up at Ayr, he beat a horse called Progress Drive. That's come out to win since. I think that run at Cheltenham was absolutely fantastic for an inexperienced horse. How the handicappers put him in here off a marker 125, I can't believe it. 7 to 1, Sky Bet paying 5 places each way. This has got to be a monster maximum bet. Spirit of Games for Dan Skelton.
No messing about with
Good on you.
Blogger. No, Kia.
No?
That is my selection as well, by the way, and excellent pick out.
Get on him. Fill your boots. Fill your boots.
Peregrine run for him is very, very good. And Holstones came out, and West Approaches, he came out and ran in an open graded race. I think West Approach was running well until he fell. I'm not too sure. But Matthew, we've done you, so we're on to you now, Graham Woods.
Hello?
Do you want me to go instead? I'll go instead.
On you go.
Woodsy unmutes himself.
On you go.
There's 6 races on the card at Kempton. I am going to have 5 favourites. Instant Karma. I agree with Will. I think he's the one to go with. That Cheltenham race is ridiculous. The winners that have come out of that behind, you got Modus, Chitabello. Anything that you like out of that has come out and won. I think he's a really nice bet. It's nice to see William Twiston Davis back as well. He's on Southport. I think that's got an each way chance, and Spirit of the Games probably as well. But you know my love for handicaps, so I'm going to go. I normally do the top 3 or the bottom 3. I'm going to extend it to the top 5 and the bottom 3 and go with Instant Karma today. We've been on a good run with these handicaps actually. I've not had a bad run.
Graham, you've now unmuted yourself. Who have we got for this race, if you've got anything?
Yeah, I'd echo everything Matt Clarkson said about Lachine Prince. I think a rain of 1-2-4 severely underestimate the horse's ability. Very impressive last time out on a nice way here. Nice price, top connections. I think he's the one here, Mick. As the blogger says, 5 places, Sky Bet, fill your boots, but on Lachine Prince.
We are now going to move to the 150 at Weatherby for the graded race there. I'm going to start with yourself, Andrew. Do you have any opinion on that race?
I was a big fan of Black Lion last year. I think his win was nice for Hatchie. I think it's a shame that Hatchie can't ride him again this time around, but that's the way jumps racing is. I actually quite like Definitely Red in this. I mean, he didn't go a yard last time, but Brian Ellison is possibly one of the shrewdest guys in the game. I think Definitely Red he's definitely going to give you a run for your money, which is in a 3-mile chase around Weatherby, and probably judging by Matt Clarkson's background noise, it sounds like it's an absolute, a storm and a half. I think he's going to be the one for me. Current mark's pretty fair. I think 141. You can't really go wrong. So yeah, I think I'd love Black Lion to win, but I think you're gonna get a bigger price about Definitely Red. He's 5-1, so he's still just about an each way bet in the race, and he would be my selection.
On to you now, Graham. Enke made all last week. Nothing got near him. Do you have an opinion on that horse, or do you fancy someone else in this race?
I think you'd have to be slightly concerned, Mick, about the quick turnaround. I think Black Lion wins this. I thought for a stage in the Hennessy he was going to win it. Just flattened out a bit. Good move by Nige to get someone to take 3 pounds off him. I think he'll deal with these, Mick. Not a strong fancy, but I think he'll win all the same. Black Lion.
Matt Clarkson, do you have any opinion in this race? Matthew, you are muted. Unmute yourself.
Also, can we have a weather update from Matt Clarkson as well for Weatherby?
What do you want? Sorry, a weather update?
It says good to soft at the moment.
Good to soft? It would have been this morning. It's not now. It's still about... Well, it's still hammering it down and it's still quite windy. That's my up-to-date weather advice.
Fantastic.
I like Black Lion. I think class prevails in a race like this, and Yola is a good horse, but Black Lion's a different league. I mean, to be fair, I still don't know how he won the RSA last year, to be honest, but end of the day, he's still a class horse, and class will prevail in a race like this, and Black Lion should win.
Racing blogger, precise, quick. Give us your take on that Weatherby race.
Amazed that the handicapper dropped Black Lion £1 for running 5th in the Hennessy, beaten 7 lengths. Jamie Balgary takes off 3, brings his official mark down to 150. He's a class horse. Everything looks set up for him. He's a course and distance winner. I think he's going to take all the beating. 4-1. He can get a quarter of the odds each way. I think he's a free bet to nothing.
William Kijani, can you round us up here before we move on to the Leopardstown card?
Yes, I can. And another one for Black Lion. Everybody's just basically said why, so I'll leave it to them.
We have KG go for Black Lion. I think Henry Parry Morgan is one to watch in this race. He's well thought of. He's not shown. He never showed his best last time out, but he's well thought of at home. He's one of the horses that progressed hugely last season. He was 11th and 19th in the Hennessy behind Native River. I think he is very underrated, this horse. And if he puts everything up in the day, I think he could actually win. We're going to move now quickly over the sea to Leopardstown to the 115. It's a Grade 2 novice hurdle, juvenile hurdle, sorry. We have 10 runners. We'll start with you, William, and work our way back.
Okay, thanks, Mick. This is looking to be another good renewal of the Knight Frank. It's quite an important race when you're thinking of the Triumph, especially. The 2 form horses would be Land of Hope and Glory, who is one of the best of Joseph O'Brien's strong hurdling string to go hurdling, and Bopalm for Winnie Mullins, who put it up to him on his Irish debut. It will be tight again between the 2, but I am of the opinion that Bopalm maybe is going to be a bit more suited to Leopardstown than Land of Hope and Glory, who I think was a proper stayer on the flat and has shaped like a proper stayer over hurdles. He showed a good turn of pace to beat Bopalm at Fairy House with Mega Fortune in 3rd, but I think there's a £3 turnaround, and also I think Bopalm can come forward for that debut as well. I think that form can be just turned around. I'd be interested to see how Prospectus goes. But it's an interesting race. I'd probably just side with the Mullins runner.
I'll move on to the racing blogger here. Do you have any thoughts on this race?
A race that I'm particularly keen on betting on, Land of Hope and Glory. Joseph O'Brien's getting the creme de la creme from his father, and JP's, rightly buying them all. These horses could turn out to be anything in time. He beat Bapoom last time, and to be honest, Bapoom travelled very well in that race, and I suppose there's not going to be much between the two of them. It's not a race that really interests me, but I'd be surprised if they don't finish 1-2 again. Hopefully with Joseph O'Brien landing spoils and beating him. But I'm sure the Mullins horse will improve.
Matt Clarkson, give us your thoughts.
Still not found the unmute button.
Yep, on you go.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Land of Hope and Glory. I'll not be backing him for Triumph, if I'm honest, but I think he's a good horse. I do like the Mullins horse at Bapoom, but I do think Land of Hope and Glory is possibly a tad more classy. And I'll not be betting on the race, but if you had a gun to me, I'd be backing Land of Hope and Glory.
Graham Woods, opinion from yourself on this one?
Yeah, Mick, I'd be with Land of Hope and Glory. I have to admit, I was pretty gutted when I didn't see Denaria Days of Bowles' name among the decorations. Because in my opinion, she's the best juvenile around, to be honest with you. But I think Land of Hope and Glory should take this. I'd like to see him in a strongly run race because I think that'll see him to best effect. And I think he'll put more distance between himself and Bapoom on Monday. Yeah, Land of Hope and Glory, Mick.
Andrew, it seems to be all for Land of Hope and Glory here. He is actually £3 better off than the last time they met. Do you have the same opinion?
Absolutely. He gave him weight last time, he beat him. Going to give him weight this time and beat him again. Bapoom's going to set a nice pace, and Land of Hope and Glory is going to come through and do the goods again. I think 74 is actually quite a nice price about him as well. I think the Ruby Willie Ritchie factor is going to hit a lot of people like myself already this Christmas, and I think that stick with what you know, stick with JP and Mark Walsh, and I think you'll do all right this week.
Fantastic. My opinion is Land of Hope and Glory. It probably third or fourth in Joseph's list of hobbies that he's got for the Triumph, and he was a one-time Derby favourite. People forget that. I think he wins. He's better off at the weights as well than the last day, and I just think he wins. The long season may have an effect on him. You've got to remember he's been going since April or March, but for me, I think he's a likely winner. I'll move on to the Grade 1 racing, Post Novices Chase, which is at 14:20. One of the races of the day, 7 declared. I'll start with you, Andrew. Quick and precise. What's your opinion on this?
I quite like Identity Thief in this. I backed him in the Supreme last year, and that went well. I didn't back him on his chase debut, but I heard Patrick Mullins describe him as a leggy sort. So whether he's filled that frame out or not, we'll have to see. I think I'm not sure of him really. I think I'm actually gonna bet him for the JLT. I think he's 16-1 for that. So I'll just get that in there now before anybody else accuses me of not saying it. But I think Identity Thief wins this. Henry de Promed is an absolute maestro with chases, and I think he's going to come through and win this one. 3 stars. I think outside the top 2, you're probably looking. It's not really a gamble outside the top 2. I think Identity Thief will be the winner, however.
We've got Identity Thief from Andrew. What do you think? What's your opinion, Graham?
I'd be siding with Identity Thief here, Mick. I think this is more his Cheltenham at Christmas than it is Min. I think they'll be gearing Min up to improve throughout the season, and Cheltenham will be his obviously ultimate objective. I think the Bromhead's horse are more forward than Mullins is, and I think he will be a better chaser than Min. It's a good race. Like, Even 143 rated Road to Respect, 33-1 here. If it was 8 runners, they'd be backing him each way. He's a good horse, and he's taking the fences really well. Ran well in Drinmore. But I think Identity Thief will take this. I don't think there's going to be much between him and Min. I think it'll be neck and neck after the final fence. But I think Identity Thief will come out on top.
Matt Clarkson, I think you are in the Min camp here, taking a guess. But give us your opinion.
Who's that? Is that to me?
Matt Clarkson.
Matt, are you there?
Roll on, Blogger, roll on.
Hello.
Yeah, okay. So, you've got a pure 2-horse race, Identity Thief versus Min. Both of them are seriously high class, and both of them are 2 horses we're going to see around now, possibly dominating the 2.5 mile novice chase division. I was really impressed with Min at Navan last time. I think he looked a different horse to last year. I think, he's improved for jumping a fence, and he was really quick and spring-heeled. And I just saw something in him that day that made me think he's going to be a far better chaser than Hurdler. There's no better man training chasers than Willie Mullins, and I definitely take Min in a straight forecast to beat Identity Thief, who's no mug himself, but I just think he may lack the class at top grade 1 level. He was beaten 18 lengths at Cheltenham in the Champion Hurdle. Vroom Vroom Mag beat him, which I was quite disappointed by, and he's only beaten top notch a Neck, who isn't a top class horse himself at grade 1 level. I think Min's the one to beat, and currently 4-5 with William Hill. I'm happy to smash a straight bet down on him to win.
Min's win was a bit of a shit race, though, wasn't it? Let's be honest.
Yeah, absolutely.
Matt, do you have an opinion on this or not?
Yeah, I mean, from the first time I saw Min last year jumping hurdle, I was like, this horse is a chaser. This horse needs a fence. And when I saw Altior, I mean, I backed Min for Supreme, but I did say if Min ever does beat Altior, he's got more chance over a fence and over an hurdle. So, and I still maintain that belief, and I believe Min will win this, and then he will go on and win.
The JLT.
No, the Arkle, you nutter. Yeah.
You are in the Identity Thief camp. I know that much. Do you fancy him to beat Min here?
As the chairman of the Identity Thief fan club, I feel as confident as is possible ahead of what is a very tough assignment. Min was deeply impressive all through last season. However, one thing I'd hold on to is the fact that I do think he's going to be better chasing the fence, better chasing Hurdler. And another thing also is I wouldn't take his best form from last year. First of all, at face value, and second of all, I discount the Champion Hurdle run. I think he's getting better and better with each run. He's still really quite lightly raced, and I think everything is kind of appearing to be in his favour for a big effort here. And yeah, I think he is still just about the value, and I think he can do it. I think he can overturn Min.
I think Min will win this. It'll be very interesting. It'll be an interesting race. I do think Min will win it. I just think he's a better horse at that trip. We are going to move on to the Shannon Airport Novices Chase at Limerick. It's at 2 o'clock on the same day. We've got 6 runners, including Attribution, Bellshill, Diamond King, Haymount, Nambor, and Who's That. This could turn out to be the race of the day. Over 2 miles, 3.5. William, do you have an opinion on this?
I do have an opinion in this. I think it's just a little shorter than Bellshill might really want, but that said, he copes with a very testing ground. He jumped brilliantly from what we could see, thanks to the good at the races camera work at Goran. I think he'll have come on from that, and I think he's just got more ability than these, and I think he will win. For that, I'd be terrified of Haymount. If he repeats the form of his chase debut, then my God, it's going to be quite a basher. But he doesn't seem to go well on ground that's testy as it is going to be on Boxing Day.
Racing blogger, do you have an opinion on this race?
Yeah, let's keep it short and sweet. If Bells Hill jumps around, Bells Hill's win. Simple as simple can be. Certainty.
Bells Hill, Racing blogger, I absolutely agree with you. We've just lost Mark Clarkson, who's had to go. So, on to you, Graham. How do you see this race panning out?
I was pretty disappointed, Mick, last time that Diamond King got beaten in the Drinmore. A high opinion of the horse, and I think I'd be inclined to give him another chance over this trip. I think he'll have too much speed for Bells Hill and Haymount. I'm hoping he can get back on track here, and hopefully he can take this en route to the JLT.
Excellent. And Andrew?
I quite like Haymount, actually. I think Haymount would be my selection for this. I agree with Graham. I think Diamond King was. I was really disappointed with Diamond King last time in the Drinmore. I think Jack Kennedy's going to bring a fresh pair of hands to him, so he could find himself again. I agree with Will also that might be a bit short for Bells Hill, but a lot of people do think if he jumps around he wins. I think Haymount and Patrick could have a really, really good chance in this. I mean, it's an each way price. I think is there only 5 runners? I've got 6 listed here, but I think there's only 5 runners, so that might take that out. But I would take a gamble on Haymount just to turn over the jolly.
If I can just interject quickly, if Bells Hill is to be beaten here, there's going to be a lovely, hopefully, overreaction of some sorts, and a bookmaker or two will push him out for the RSA, where we'll surely see him at his best. I think it's quite a signal of faith that Mullins is taking here. Maybe actually quite shrewd to get a real testing team over fences. This side of Christmas on a second run, it can only do good for the long term.
The RSA market's an absolute shambles, by the way. Thistlecrack's second favourite for that race, so I wouldn't imagine as the best will in the world. Will I don't think they'll push him out. I think if anything, he'll probably stay the same.
That's us done for Boxing Day, or St Stephen's Day, as some people will call it. We'll move on to Chepstow.
Can I just quickly thank the blogger for spending an hour of his time with us? It's been magical. It's been magical.
You got to go.
Thank you very much.
I
can hang around for another 10 minutes if you need me.
Excellent.
But man, good on you.
Because
Good on
we've
you,
got
brother.
2 great races for you at Chepstow. The 2 o'clock at Chepstow on the 27th, Future Champions Juvenile Hurdle. I'll start this off by saying Joseph O'Brien has Zigzag and Lord Justice in here. Both of them are over for just to see how the competition stacks up. It was won by Adrian Dupont last year, beating Kustar Savola. I'm sure was second. That's actually worked out a not a bad race going forward. Does anybody fancy anything in here? I'll start with Andrew.
Deffy. Let the wins continue. Deffy will win this. Even Hush will follow him in. No need to worry about anything else as far as I'm concerned. I quite like Deffy DeSurley. He's shown himself to be really good around Cheltenham, which is what you want from a young horse like that. Even in Hush, does get the weight, but whether, just visually watching Deffy at Cheltenham does look a lot quicker, a lot better over the hurdles than even Hush. So yeah, Deffy will win this as far as I'm concerned.
Graham, any opinion on this as well?
You'd have to think Deffy Swale will win this, Mick. Interesting, the handicapper has Even Hush rated £1 higher. Thought that was interesting. I'd be keeping a close eye on Dream catching a Paul Nicholls for the future. Nicholls gave that very good mention last week, and I keep a close eye on him if he runs. But Deffy the Swale should take this en route to bigger things.
Racing blogger, anything from yourself?
Yeah, I have to agree with the lads. Deffy DeSoy looks the one to beat, although I wouldn't get too carried away with him. As Philip Hobbs said, the trainer, he doesn't think the horse has actually had to beat anything of any substance yet. So, this evening, Hush, he's done nothing but improve. An 80 rated flat horse. He looks really, really decent. He's a front runner. And if they let him go a merry dance like they did at Aintree last time, they might not be able to catch him. it's a bit of an interesting race. He's getting £7 as well. If you pushed me for a bet, I'd probably take Evening Hush over Effie de Sol.
William, do you go with the same opinion?
Everybody seems to be very keen on Deafy, or at least gives the benefit of the doubt. I would be tempted by Evening Hush based on what price comes out. The only worry would be Ground, but she won very impressively in May at Tipperary. Seems to have no problem with it. The way she just spread eagled them at Aintree was something to behold, and that was 21 lengths. It was as good. It was as good as Apple's Jade, really. I mean, albeit Maloney had to work harder. She's rated top of the field, and that's before the mare's allowance comes in. So I think you have to take that very seriously. I might back her to overturn him.
I quite agree with you on Evening Hush. I think she's the likely winner of this, and Joseph's ones will be pretty close. I don't think Ginham's good enough to win, but they're just there to see what the competition's like. He done it last week for Cliffs of Dover's race, and it's just to see what he's going to have to beat on the day. We now move on to the Chepstow Coral Welsh Grand National at 1440. I know the racing bloggers pressed for time, so I'll let him go first in this mammoth race.
Yeah, I like two horses in this race. I'm very, very keen on the Nicky Henderson horse, Vita de Rock.
Yes.
I think. Yeah, you fancy that, do you?
Yep.
Good man. He ran in the 4 miler at Cheltenham. Sorry, the 3 miler behind Blakon last year, and you could clearly see he got outpaced. Went over to the Scottish Grand National, finished 5th, only beaten 9 lengths as a 6-year-old. I think that was a cracking run. Second time up in Newbury behind Native River. Again, he got outpaced. And I'm surprised, generally the horse is only rated 143. And for Nicky Henderson, who's really in flying form, I think he's a horse that jumps well. He stays really well. He's a year older. I think he's got to go very, very close. And the other one that I'm quite keen on is Warren Greatrester's horse, Warranter, who ran an absolute blinder at Cheltenham behind Vinconto de Nua of Colin Tizard. I think he's a horse who stays all day. I know this horse has been trained for this race specifically, and they're very, very keen on him. Vita de Rock and Warranter.
Excellent preview there, Stephen. William, do you fancy anything in this?
Steve's actually got 2 of the 3 I had in the shortlist, and Vita de Rock is definitely going to be one I'll put up. Warranter, if he gets in. Only other one really I've got to make a decision with is One Night in Vienna, who I think is set to go very well. I'll just move on.
Graham, do you have any opinion in this race?
I'll take his place while he's waiting, if that's all right.
Graham Woods, any idea of this race, or well, I'll move on to you, Andrew?
I just hope they all come back safe. I couldn't care who wins this, no offence. Chepstow's a lovely course. Been there, very nice people that work there, but really couldn't. No offence to the race whatsoever, but really couldn't care. If you had to push me 4-1, why not go with Firebird Flyer, Evan Williams, hometown winner.
Graham, I'll take your opinion now, please, if you're there.
Yeah, the one I like here, Mike, is Firebird Flyer. I mean, his case is pretty simple. The second of the last year. His comeback run, I think he bumped into next year's Grand National winner on 3 Faces West.
Ooh.
I think that's a horse that could be potential grading material, and I think Aintree's I'd be keen on him for Aintree. But I think Firebird Flyer for this race, he loves this test, has experience around it. He's only £3 higher than when he was second in it. The case is simple. I'd like to have a horse on my side for a race like this that's been around this track and has completed this test. So, and he fits it. I still think he's well handicapped to win a race like this. And yeah, he would run for me here, Mick.
I'll keep it quite simple then. I've had an anti-post bet on Red Devils Lads. I don't know if he's going to get in or not, but Rebecca Curtis has kept him and Bob Ford over hurdles. Bob Ford ran the last time, I think, at Aintree, finished 7th in the Beecher. I think that if either of the two of them get in, they will be off a low weight with an outstanding chance. We'll move on to the Wayward Lads Chase, which is at Kempton 13:45. There's 11 entered. Entries dates haven't been declared yet, but I would imagine Altior is going to go to the other race, or Bouverdaire is going to come here. Stephen, we'll get your opinion before you blast off.
Yeah, like you said, the decks haven't really come out for the race, but you can be sure Bouverdaire isn't going to run. Altior, well, there's not a lot to say about the horse that people don't know already. He's a course and distance winner. Noel Feely thinks he's the best horse that he's ever ridden. The horse is absolutely electric. I was at Kempton when he won a 2-runner race and he just jumped beautifully. I was at Sandown when he just totally outspeeded Charabelle at Sandown. That was really impressive. He fairly sprinted clear. Let's not forget the way he won the Supreme Novices at Cheltenham, destroying Min. This is some hell of a horse, and he genuinely could be one of the best horses we've seen. And I'll tell you one thing. Next year, if Douvan stays at 2 miles, I'm looking forward to Altior versus Douvan. But Altior in this, if he jumps around safely, it's nothing more than a schooling session.
Thanks very much for that, Stephen. Andrew, do you have an opinion here?
I would echo it's a bit of a schooling session for him, in all honesty. I agree that Bouverdaire, with all the best intentions, 10 days ago he had a good run at Haydock, but I can't see Altior heading for the Desert Orchid. I think that would be a bit of a stretch so early on. So I think Bouverdaire will be a non-runner. I think Altior will comprehensively win this one.
Graham, I'll move on to yourself. Are you of the same opinion?
Where is Woodsy? No, it's been a while since
He's got him. He's just.
Storm's taking him down.
I was really pleased that Blogger brought back the Altior Min Supreme Novices just when I thought I got over it. Blogger, thanks very much for that.
Sorry, mate. I'd love to rub it in a little bit.
William, I'll go with yourself then.
This depends on who goes where, because if Altior is to go for the Desert Orchid, he'd probably win that too. But I think Nicky will find something else to Bouverdaire, run him here, and just keep him ticking. It should be too easy for him, really.
I think we now have Graham Woods back. Graham, do you have an opinion on this race?
I'm in, Graham.
The Wayward Lad.
I'll just give you my opinion. If Altior turns up here, I think he wins. And we'll quickly move on. This is we've got the Desert Orchard Chase next, which is the.
What race is this, Mick? Sorry.
The 14. It was the 13:45 Wayward Lads Chase, Graham. If you got an opinion on that race?
Hello.
This is a savage storm. This is a savage. It's taken 2 of them out already.
Right, let's crack on with this Desert Orchid Chase to 220. I'm going to make this really simple. Special Tiara is receiving £10 from Sire de Grugy. There is no way on God's earth Sire de Grugy can give him £10. He's available at 15-8. He's going to go out and make all. This is the best 15-8 shot you've seen in your life. Fill your boots, lads. Fill your boots.
Precise, very precise by the blogger there. I kind of agree with you. I don't think any of them can give him £10. I'll go to you, Will.
If Altior runs here, he wins. If he doesn't, it will probably be Special Tiara on this ground with a run under his belt, which is very important for him. if we try to look for a bigger price to be fancy, then maybe a tuned up Savello or something can go well. But I'm probably being outlandish. It's Altior Special Tiara.
Andrew, on to yourself for this one. Do you think Altior turns up in here, or do you think that they can give weight to Special Tiara?
I don't think Altior turns up here. I think it would be a bit of a big step from Nicky, and I don't think he doesn't need to do it. Keep him to novice company all the way through. Why not? I think if you back in anything other than Special Tiara, you need to go to the doctors and get your head checked. Brilliant move by De Brommer to keep him away from two big 2-milers already. He's going to come here fresh. He's going to go out in front, and that'll be the last that anybody sees of him. Side of Grugy definitely can't give him £10. Brilliant horse, Side of Grugy. Fantastic career that he's had, but Special Tiara is probably the better of the 27th, I would imagine.
I'll try to get Graham Woods back as we speak. We'll move on to Leopardstown next, which is the 1320, which is the Paddy Power Cash Card Chase Grade 1. We've got 8 in the field at the moment at 2 mile 1. Andrew, I'll let you go first. From the 8 that are entered, how do you see this going?
Lads, can I just say goodbye and Merry Christmas from the blogger, and I hope you all have a great profitable year. I've got to run.
Blogger, thanks very much for your time.
Brilliant, Blogger. Enjoy yourself, man.
Have a good one.
Good lads, hope you all back loads of winners. And if any of you are at Kempton, I'll be down there.
Thanks very much. No,
To answer your question, Mick, this is a complete non-starter. Let's be honest. Douvan wins this. Let's move on.
William, are you of the same opinion?
Yeah, I don't think there's much to challenge Douvan here. They're not going to have some big clash of heads between him and Underso. So no, I think it'll be fairly comfortable for Douvan, and we'll see him tested properly. Well, actually, won't really see him tested properly until something comes out this year's novice division. I've just realised. So yeah, Douvan's going to win everything. This is going to be another one of those on the way to everything.
What I would say is, I think that Douvan will, if he turns up, he wins. It depends how bad the weather is. If it becomes really heavy, they might not actually run him. They may actually run into so in that heavy ground, because they know he likes it. If they didn't run Douvan, into so wins, and if they run Douvan, Douvan wins for me.
Either way, Willie wins. Willie always wins. Remember that.
Well, sometimes it works like that, but Gordon Elliott's having a great season as well. We have got one more for the 27th. No, we're on to the 28th now. No, sorry, I'll tell lies. We've got one more for the 27th at Limerick. It's a 210. Has anybody got an opinion on this at all that is left? William or Andrew?
In the Irish Independent Hurdle at Limerick, you mean, the 215?
No, the 210 at Limerick.
That's the word handicap in it. You know my thoughts. I'm not going to get involved in an Irish handicap. I've got more sense than that.
The 210, 27?
Sorry, the 210 from the 27th. Apologies to the viewers and listeners there. Yeah, Tim Duggan Memorial Handicap Chase. Can't say I've given this a whole lot of attention. It'll be interesting to see who makes it into the final field. I think Bald Dark has a fair mark of 133. I'm not sure what they're going to do with Killer Crow. I've been waiting for him to use that talent. He hasn't really for a long time. Whatever JP managed to run will shorten up quite a lot, and I hate to be obvious when I say that. Watch out for My Hometown, who is still really quite lightly raced. And of course there is Sizing Cole, and actually Sizing Cole could be interesting, but I'm not sure he's got the pace for his trip. So It's all still a bit up in the air.
It's a horrible race to try and have a good guess at, but Size and Cole and Killer Crow stood out. But Bold Dark went very well the last time. It's probably, you're probably better to wait to declarations to have this. What we'll probably do for that race is post selections from the pod page to give people a better chance once we've got the decks. We'll move on to the 28th, the Grade 1, which is the 1350 at Leopardstown. It is over 3 miles. We see the return of Jet Ski here. Possibly. I think that he's one interesting horse, being only 8, and he's touted as a potential World Turtle horse. How do you see this panning out, William?
I'm really excited for the comeback of Jess.
I can't wait. I can't.
Oh, sorry. Seemed to cut across there. So I'll be brief before letting Andrew go. This could be fairly run, depending on who remains. And in terms of how it panned in the latter stages, I see Jeski and Snow Falcon probably trading shorter in running than quite a few others, depending on who else comes here. I'd be surprised if they send Vroom Vroom Mag here, having had the chance to go to Kempton as well. So that is also something I would put up. I think that this will be quite a strongly run race. I would probably actually give Snow Falcon a real good chance. He was travelling really well when he fell in the race won by You Know What I Mean, Harry. We don't know what he'd have found, but the way he was going, I'm willing to bet he would have been well up there. I think the British have the edge over the Irish in the main, bar him and Jeski in terms of staying hurdles. I don't think we're going to see Vroom Vroom Mag here. So I think I'd go with Snow Falcon and then maybe something on Jeski for the World Hurdle.
Andrew, I'm going to just stick it across to you. Power's got Vroom Vroom Mag in here at 45 favourite. Then we've got Snow Falcon 4s, Jetski 7s, Shane's Hill, Condor Warrior. I was pretty sure this was Nichols Canyon's going to be his aim, but it looks as if Vroom Vroom Mag's actually going to, according to the betting anyway, turn up here. Do you have any opinion in this race over the 3 miles?
I think maybe they're just staying on side with Vroom Vroom Mag. I think that's probably what it is. I've longed for Shane Hill to be a 3 mile hurdler. Longed for him to be a 3 mile hurdler, and I think he probably is the one in Willie's yard that can take him on. I would have him as an each way bet if he does go. Whether he goes or not, nobody knows because it's Willie. Snow Falcon, I'm not sure he would have got to You Know What I Mean, Harry. I think he was travelling quite well, and that was, it was a good race, and that's probably the best 3 mile form you're going to see in a long time. Jeski, well, we know what the past's done there, so an interesting one. But the Plotting Shed, I'm not sure if the Plotting Shed is going to go here. Does anybody know if they do?
I couldn't really tell you. I've got no idea.
Just because I quite like the Plotting Shed. I think, it's very honest runner. Good hurdler. I think if they do make the trip, I mean, we can get 12 to 1 with Betfair, so whether or not on the sportsbook, that is, whether or not they go there, we'll see. But the one, I think I quite like him. But the one I'm most looking forward to is seeing Kotikova or Kotikova, however you say it. JP's big money buy. It's interesting that Nicky's gone straight over there with her. I think that's going to be really interesting to watch. But for me, if Shane Hill's fought one with Skyber, 8 to 1 with Paddy Power, it's not really a betting race for me. I think there's too many ums and ahs in here for me. But if they do turn up, I think the Plotting Shed at 12 to 1 might be a bit of a go.
For me, I actually really like Jetski in here if he does go. It'll be interesting him or Nichols Canyon if they do turn up. Snow Falcon was unlucky the last day as well. It's probably going to be one of the better races over the Christmas period and tell us a lot more. I am now going to move to the Lexus Chase, which is at 3 o'clock on the 28th. We have Valsalido and its 15-8 favourite, followed by Jackadam, Outlander, Zabana, Don Polo and Gil Gamboa. Andrew, do you have any opinion on this race at all?
I think the top two in the market are probably where they deserve to be. Valsalido's JMY and Wayne was very impressive. This has clearly been the long-term goal for them. You know, we spoke before about De Bromhead's ability to train a chaser. I think, 7-4 is quite skinny for him, but I think he probably does win the race. Jackadam, we all know that he's being trained for March. On the ground, will he go at Leopardstown if it does turn worse? Not sure, because I don't think they need to run him here. I think there's probably another race they can run him in. Zabana, I just don't think not sure he's good enough. And Don Poli, they took him out hunting to hope he, the lunatic turns into something that they want him to be, but I don't think that he will. Outlander, not overly confident. Empire of Dirt's in there as well. It's a good honest race, I think. It's a good honest race, but I think Valsalido will take all the beating in this race.
I was going to move on to the listed race at Limerick at the 14-15, but quickly I will say I don't think Jackadam will run here. I think Valsalido wins. It's just, I just think he's a much better horse at that trip, especially against the rest when Jackadam doesn't turn up. The Limerick 215 there's just a pile of entries there. We can't really do much about it, but I think if Raven Light turns up, I think he'll be very interesting, or Crack Teepee. Do any of you have opinion on this at all?
Be very interested in seeing if Raven Light possibly wants to reappear, but Willie Mullins loves to use this for his 4-year-olds, and he thought enough of Cap Dubois to run him at Punchestown in the champion 4-year-old hurdle, which I think says an awful lot. And I can see him being reintroduced here, and the rest of his charges being rerouted to various places, because there's options for them all to take. Either that or Praveg Luna, very impressive at Navan, in winning by 5.5 lengths. Pretty easy win for her that day. Made hard work of it for herself. But that said, I think she's got a future.
Andrew, anything in this for yourself?
Willie and Rich seem to do quite well in this race, so whatever they decide is the best horse to go in the race will probably win. Barring Let's Dance, I don't think Let's Dance is up to winning this. I don't know. I just seem to have a bit of a hatred for the horse, if you want to use that word. Missy Tartar is quite interesting as well. Gordon seems to, quite like her. So whether she goes again for this race or not, unfortunately, a lot of it is quite a bit of speculation with regards to the Willie and the Gordon runners, because there's so many horses in both yards. Nobody knows what's going to turn up where, unfortunately.
Yeah. What I would say is, I think we'll probably revisit this race when we do the 20. We do a pod on the 28th to cover Cheltenham and things like that in the first. We will revisit this. It's just there's too many entries to go through and try and guess what's going where. I'm going to end this with a nap from each of you for over the Christmas period for what we've covered.
Lovely stuff.
Who's going first? You go first, Will.
Don't know if it's necessarily a nap, but the best bet that I can think of is probably the 8-11, the reverse forecast. I take it as soon as you're listening to it. because I really honestly believe it's about Thistlecrack and Q Card getting round. I think the rest are well overmatched, and I think there's flaws in the others. In terms of the pure aspect, you know, the way Val Salido won that JN Wine Chase, oh, jeez, I mean, 15-8 is very fair if he turns up and Jack Adam doesn't. I think 15-8 is very fair. I think he'll go close. So yeah, probably I'd look at it that way.
Andrew, any that for you for over the period?
Yeah, I've got one at Wincanton for you. Jaunty in Flight, Dr. Richard Newland and Brendan Powell. He's rated 101. He's 2-1 favourite currently for the 105. In the race, he's going up against Dusty Lark and Not Half Bad, who are carrying 12 stone 3. And he is carrying a cool 10 stone. Now they're bringing him back over hurdles. I cannot see him beat. He's 2-1. I think he might be my he might be my sort of only bet at Wincanton. You know, getting £22 from his rivals is, I think that 20. It's over £20 from his rivals. I think he's going to be very difficult to beat for a very shrewd trainer who doesn't often make the trip to Wincanton as well. So that was worth a look. Also, Marla Dramatic at Sedgefield in the 105. Nathan Mosscrop's on, Brian Ellison, top weight, so they're going to go from the front on that. Whether that wins or not, I'm not sure, but he's going to be worth a bet. Also, keep an eye on Fonwell, Neil Mulholland, 26% with his hurdlers there, something to interest you. And Josh Moore is at Huntingdon on Boxing Day, so he will probably have a few winners there as well. But other than that, I think that's probably about it, to be honest.
I'll leave you with Sylvain Jacob Conti for the King George.
You're a madman.
It's madness, but people told me I was mad when I says East Lake as well, but look what happened when he won. I'll go quickly, and I'll let Will go quickly.
Right, couple of handicap fancies. First of all, buy-wise, yes, him again.
Not again.
Yeah, again. He's off 140 with Conor Ring taking £3 off in the 215, the very good Potemkin qualifier they've got at Wincanton on Boxing Day. In the Paddy Power Chase, it's a Grade B handicap chase, but essentially it's sort of the Irish's equivalent of the Welsh National, really, over Christmas. Gallant Oscar is 12-1. He needs to jump round, but he was going like a dream in the Grand National. He was getting into things when he unseated in this last year. I'm convinced it's a really big race in him. And I think, and I hope it might be this one, him and Cello Conti are two that I've got a lot of time for. We'll probably talk about this more in pods we do after, or hangouts, I should say. But yeah, I think it'll go well.
Yeah,
it'll go well.
Well, I would like to just wrap this up and say thank you to everybody who's going to listen. Have a Merry Christmas. Thanks very much, Andrew, for your time.
You're very welcome, Mick. Enjoy your Christmas, everybody. Hope it's a profitable one. And remember, try not to drink too much over Christmas.
And yourself, Will. Thanks very much for your time as well.
Thank you so much. I'd like to thank everybody who's been a part of Horses for Courses at some point, and also yourself, Mick. You've really managed to rejuvenate things. The blogger, of course, sharing his time, as well as Matt Clarkson and Graham Woods. Graham Woods braved the storm, and Matt Clarkson braved the little ones, or managed to make some very special time for us as well. It's been quite a year, 2016. There's been some real old highs and lows, and you know, when I started doing this, it was actually your idea, Mick, I remember, to start doing this. It was essentially some sort of hybrid Cheltenham Festival hangout. We've had over 15,000 plays, and we haven't even done sort of the full calendar year. So no, thank you all very much for that. We will be back. We love the feedback, so please do get in touch as well. And this will be on iTunes, and it will also be on SoundCloud. with lots of festive jingles and such added in, hopefully.
I would just like to thank everybody that's listened in, and all have a Merry Christmas, and we'll see you at the other side. Good night.